Hello, alpha males. Hello, hello, hello. Can-
Hello.
Hello. Okay, I can hear you now. Good. Great to hear. Great to hear your voice, Dan.
Thank you.
Yes.
I jogged home. I'm
Nice.
catching my breath as I am a well-conditioned uh
Alpha male.
sure.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Hold on. I'm trying to figure out. We are live. Hello, if anyone immediately clicked the link. Thank you for that. It's gonna be about 5 minutes just working on getting everything up, but glad to have you here. If anyone wants to monitor the chat, let us know if anyone's speaking. Let me just get the thumbnail in and we'll be good to go.
Atomic Walnut is here.
Nice. Isn't
Long
that
time viewer.
isn't that Farmer?
Could be.
Farmer's
Depends.
got a
Depends
weird
how it is, really.
YouTube name, so I'm not sure which one's Farmer. It is the Masters.
I'm
Yes.
so pumped. Come on, man.
And as well.
Uh Jordan, I appreciate the Under Armour festive shirt.
I try. I try.
Elyse, I appreciate the Masters themed shirt ish.
This
It's
is
colorful.
it
Do you
looks like
appreciate
Wyndham Clark shirt.
I was
Yes.
gonna say, do you appreciate Wyndham's shirt?
Yes. I didn't want to go there because I didn't know how you'd take it, but I like it. I'm not. I'm anyway.
Color scheme's better though than his.
Yes, precisely. That's what I was looking for.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. It is an exciting week though. It's very exciting.
Just a little.
Very,
Just a
very.
little.
Just a little.
This might be worth saving for the pod, but I'm assuming you all watched the interview of Spieth J.
Yes.
Yes. I read it. Yeah.
The
I
last
read it as
question.
well.
The last question was thumbs up. Quality journalism.
What was the last question again?
He asked him last year. You mentioned that you only picked the target on 50% of your
Oh
shot.
yes, yes.
How does that happen, and how do you avoid that this year?
Ooh,
That is actually a good question.
I guess I zoned out for that one then.
Yes, Mr. Spieth looked a little uncomfortable on the stand, as one should if you don't pick a target on half your shots in a major championship that you care
Yeah,
so deeply about.
I agree. He went woke. It was a good question to ask.
It was a fantastic, probably the best question I've heard him asked in a long time.
Yeah.
I thought the presser was pretty good actually, though. I thought the
I did
questions
too.
I know Bob didn't love it, but I thought the questions were pretty good.
I
All
mean,
considered.
to be fair, the bar isn't very high.
No,
No,
that's true.
Like I
he did get a
it
question from Rappaport early.
we did. We did get a question from
I
him
think it was
very
the
early.
first question. It was about his
Is the
kids.
thumbnail up for you guys? I don't know if this is like good yet.
Uh, Mine's running live, so I'm not sure.
Well, we can have the thumbnail later, I guess.
Let me see if I can look, Bob.
Dan, would you like to get it up on Instagram?
I would.
Let me go.
Honestly, just post on the story because then you can put the link. You know what I mean?
I see
Yes.
the thumbnail, Bob. Thumbnail's good.
Okay. I don't even think you need to do the post. I mean, you could. You could do both. Yeah, because I have to do all the Twitters. So yeah, if you want to do both, just because you can't really click the link straight from post. Copy link.
go. Phone is at 1%, but I got the story out.
Nice.
Oh, thank you. Little button down there, Bob.
You know, I feel like that's what the Riddler would be wearing on the podcast. So that's how I chose my attire tonight.
Very
In fact,
fair.
he'd probably be wearing a tie.
Yeah.
So I guess I kind of struck out there, but oh well.
Do you know what the Riddler's profession is?
Is his profession not the chairman of the Augusta National Golf Club?
No, it's not. Well, I mean, it is, but do you know what his like actual day job is?
No.
He is a lawyer.
He's a lawyer.
Right up what Elyse is out, yeah.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
I did not know that.
Riddler fun fact. He let's see. He sectors food and beverage, hospitality and leisure, sports and entertainment, commercial and planned unit real estate development and finance. Interesting. Yeah, I actually wonder, like, what is his job at Augusta? Well, because I mean, they hold a tournament, you know, they have the women's amateur, they have the drive, chip, and putt, and they have the Masters. And then besides that, like, I wonder what he does as chairman the rest of the year. Probably not a whole lot, right?
Can't imagine.
Just collect the money, I guess, from the members. I don't know.
Instagram posts are up. They're not.
I think we are just about ready to rock and roll. Jordan, we'll get the recording going in just a second. Are we good on all? Let me hold on. Let me get the chat up on my computer. Then we will actually be good. This is exciting. This is exciting, gentlemen and lady.
Only. And Mrs. Elyse.
Yes.
Speaking of Mrs. Elyse, the caps are up. Right,
How's the over doing? Yeah.
I know. I think it's either 2-0 or 2-1.
That is
So
not what we like to hear.
what was the number? Oh, it's 2-0 in the third
6.
period.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Good night.
You are cooked.
Good night.
That'd be a massive 2 points for the men in the white sweaters, though.
Yes. Yeah.
Do they need that? Yeah.
Yeah, they're playing
So
Detroit,
glad the
so
Caps are
it's
not moving to Virginia. They were able to strike a deal. DC.
Caps owner is a loser.
Are we ready to go?
I'm ready to roll. I'm ready to talk some golf.
Absolutely.
Yes. Somebody put the Masters theme on Instagram, so our post
Oh,
is
that's electric.
backed by a little chilling.
Did you do that, Dan?
I did not make it, but I did make the post.
That could
No.
get some that could drive the numbers up though. I mean, that'll get people hyped to watch Masters talk.
I was once on a video call and I had the Masters up as well. And then the Masters music started playing while I was on the video call. And of course, they recognized that. It's like, who's playing Masters music?
Yeah, you're the good employee doing that.
Yes. Yes, I do not expect much work to be gotten done around America this week. So, all right, I think we're ready to go. Jordan, if you can get I just gave you permissions. We'll get this recorded so we can put it on all other platforms later tonight. But I think we are good to go.
Ready?
We are.
Let's do it.
Hello, everyone. This is the best week of the year. We are approaching Christmas Day. The Masters has finally arrived. Episode 117 of the Go Get That podcast. We welcome you all in. Some already crazy numbers in the chat, considering we just put this link out a few minutes ago. We appreciate the support. This is always one of our biggest episodes of the year. We're happy to be joined by Elyse, the golf betting god. If you're looking to understand which players to pick this week, she will have some insight later in the pod after we just discuss some general Masters topics. But overall,
On a
this
bit of a
is
heater too, yeah.
what?
Coming off a win with Batia, correct?
Yeah.
Bang.
Right off an outright Batia 60-1. I think I also hit him in the did I end up taking him?
Yes, you did.
I did. Yes.
It's
I
becoming a
assume
runaway.
even with a straight zero week, I'm in a commanding lead now.
You're up 1.5 million on Dan.
Oh, that's not even yeah, that's a lot actually.
It's a
So
winner. That's a win.
That's a winner. Yeah.
Unless it's the same tournament, yeah.
So great. Great to see. Yeah, I mean, what are you guys? I mean, the tingles are in the air, I mean, it's finally here. I actually feel like it's different for me now being in college, because I feel like in high school, when the Masters came around, there was still so much to get done. But now I feel like the Masters is kind of going to be the beginning of the end for a college semester for me, which is nice. I feel like all my focus is on the Masters this week, and then I just have to grind for a week and a half, and I'll be all done. So that's pretty cool. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. I think we're all in agreement that positive out of Mr. Spieth last week. We said something needed to be done to raise his chances from 0.0, and I think he did that. So excited to hear what you guys have to say on all those topics.
Yes. Welcome to Masters Week, everybody. I'm sure you have already been welcomed by the beautiful people of Twitter on Monday morning, but it's here and it feels fantastic. I am very much ready for this Masters. The only slightly disappointing thing is Mr. Thunderstorm that appears to be coming on Thursday morning. If that wasn't here, apparently the course is unbelievably firm right now. So hopefully by the weekend it can still play firm, and it'll still play difficult. The wind will blow this week. I'm just getting my weatherman Dan stuff out of the way here early, but I'm excited. It should be a really fun week. As long as Scott Scheffler does not run away from the field, I think it should be a competitive finish for the first time in a few years now. At least that's my hope.
Yeah, that's well said. It's up to Scotty how fun this week will be. It's in his hands. If he runs away with it, it'll be a boring week. If he doesn't, it should be fun as always. It's just a special week. I know Elyse can probably allude to this. The Masters is always the beginning of spring, and living in the Baltimore metro area, Elyse a little bit south of me, the weather is just beautiful today. It just feels like springtime. And then a few hundred miles down the road in Augusta, Georgia. It's beautiful. It's beautiful outside. I got my polo on, got my shorts on. Beautiful weather on the East Coast. It feels like spring's here, and it's here because the Masters is here. Is this our second or third Masters that we've covered?
It has to be third, right? Yeah.
Third Masters we've covered as a pod, which is pretty cool. Have a miscut.
Time is flown.
Miscut T4 and
T3
now
right?
This year T3.
Yeah,
and then this
so
year,
we've had
we're trending
good and the bad.
Yeah, well,
we're trending.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, so
We're
I guess
trending.
only way to go from now is
The winner's circle.
T2.
Yeah, T2.
It's got a couple of those.
A 3-jack on 18 for brutal.
Oh boy,
why'd I even bring that into the universe? My goodness,
dirty devil.
But
When I rewatch like 2018, I stopped after the 17th hole. Just can't watch the 18th hole.
I can't do that for 23 last year. They have like all of his shots or whatever, and I don't watch 18.
18's not a soul.
Not that he was gonna win, but
Yeah.
it's just such a great round, and then 4 left. Yeah. I mean, we'll get into it, but like you said earlier, Bob, going into Valero, 0.0 infinity 0 chance of winning this week. And I was discussing with Jordan here earlier. I think we have now reached 0.6% chance of winning this week. I think there's a tangible way for Jordan Spieth to win the Masters, but it also is very much slim to none, I'd suggest. And I'm curious, what say you?
Jordan, do you have any thoughts there?
I agree. It's still slim to none. That seems a little harsh, but it's low.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you guys this question, and at least you can obviously answer as well. Do you guys feel more confident this year or last year? Last year he couldn't putt worth a damn, but he hit the ball really well.
Yeah, I felt more confident last year because I thought putting could just turn around at any moment.
I don't know.
And it
I
did,
mean,
kind of. He putted pretty well last year at Augusta.
I mean, I'll address both of those. I feel like, so Dan, you're definitely lowballing data golf.
What is
What's he
data
at, like 3%?
Data
there?
golf's like 2.7. No, like 3.1. I can't tell because he's
Wow.
the sixth. He's sixth, but only the top 5 I can see because I'm not signed into my account. So it's just a little bit lower than Hideki, who's 3.8. So it's somewhere in that range.
Holy
So you're
moly.
definitely lowballing him.
Data golf has given him some props.
Yeah.
I hate to interrupt, but the Orioles just called up Jackson Holiday. So
3.3% is what data golf
electric.
gives him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna split the difference there. I'm gonna say I'm giving him around a 2% chance. Listen, I don't know. Part of the reason why we've been so angry has been because he just hasn't been able to hit an iron shot anywhere near a professional level. And I didn't watch much of last week, but the stats specifically say he hit the ball pretty well.
Yeah.
So it seems like the swing's all right. Now, you can't slop yourself around Augusta National around the greens, and he has been doing that, which definitely does not have me feeling too confident. But
And
again,
that's also potentially the risk because
yeah,
when he first
I've been thinking
heard
about
it,
that.
when he first heard it, he
because-
couldn't get out of the bunkers at the PGA, and he was really bad around the greens. And he did say it flared up Monday of last week, and so I
Yeah.
think that was part of it, like as well. He just can't.
Yeah,
the
he's
risk-
not that he doesn't usually, but I have not seen him hit a non-chop chip in a long time. Now he's his entire career, he's always played it in the back of his stance and hit down on the ball for a majority of his around the green shots. But I haven't seen him hit like a flop shot or a little just kind of plop it out of the rough, let it trickle away. Like I haven't seen any of those shots where the wrist needs to be involved. So could it be mental as well? Like scared to hurt the wrist? I don't know. There's just been a lot of straightforward chips that have been left 8-9 feet short of the pin, which is going to cost him strokes around these greens because there are 9-footers here, unlike other courses, that there are 9-footers here that like are borderline unmakeable if you put them in the wrong spots. So yeah, and I think the around the green, the short game is a big factor in how low I'm giving him. But you also look at the putting because last week he did not putt well, correct? I'm not
He putted
tripping.
pretty well.
He putted
decently.
well
Oh,
until
did he?
Sunday. Sunday
Okay.
was a tough
He was
day
dead
on
last
him.
Sunday, right? Something like that.
No, I don't know if it
Thought I
was
saw
that
something
bad.
like that. Well, okay. So like
He he's gained strokes putting 4 straight events.
Yeah.
Although
okay,
two of them
that's
are
Very
good to
close,
hear.
by the way.
2 of them
We're
are
very
miscuts.
close. Mr. Recession is
That's very good to hear.
shivering in his boots right now.
Yeah.
Not that it's, getting out of a recession means like, oh, the economy's booming, but he's putting well.
That ain't the problem right now.
He's
or
putting
isn't the
good
last
enough
one.
to contend at tournaments.
Yeah. I know, but at the same time, I'm also looking at it from perspective that like, how bad are we really feeling right now? Because at the end of the day, Data Golf's giving Hideki a 3.8% chance to win. I mean, they're giving Rahm a 6% chance to win. I mean, I think Hideki's got more than a good chance to win this tournament. He's actually one of my picks this week. I'm gonna be taking him in the competition as I spoil for later, but like I don't think that I think that last week almost went as good as it could have gone besides winning. I think last week he showed us that like he's not completely lost. Because if he went into the Masters with the swing he had coming into the Valero Texas Open, he'd be screwed. Like that golf swing could miss the cut here. Um, so I think it's good because I think he's got a little bit more confidence in his swing. He can swing freely, hopefully pick some targets as he's coming into greens. But I think that last week was a huge step in the right direction. And I think even maybe more than some other people would say.
So to your question, Jordan, more confident
Hi.
this year or last year? Last year he took a week off after the match play in which he didn't even make he didn't get out of his group, correct? Last year, match play was bad.
Sounds correct. Yeah.
Right.
And promptly, I mean, T4'd at the Masters, but it was really a backdoor Sunday T4, Rory-esque, Xander-esque.
Well, I mean, he had like a decent first two rounds. It was just Saturday, like completely crapped the bed.
Yeah,
Third
but
round
he
was
was
terrible.
wasn't he 7 back going into Saturday's round or the third round? I know Saturday was bad, but it never really felt like he was there. Anyway, regardless, my point is he he loved to use the word trending, and I've already used it like 3 times in this episode, which I think is fantastic. He trended last week. Last week was the definition of trend. It was about as bad as it got through 15 holes, 4 over through 15. Obviously, the ace was a big kind of flip. And I don't know, Friday was obviously the best score, but I think he played better golf each day. Saturday was a tough finish with the whole roof fiasco. And Sunday was kind of as well with the missed 2-footer on 14 and then playing 16, 17 and 4-4. But I think he got better every day. And at least your point about the wrist, given that hurt on Monday, it was nice to see him continue to get better. And the short game got better every day. Maybe not statistically, but it was really bad Thursday. It was better Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday, I think were pretty good days around the greens. So I think that gives me a little bit of confidence that maybe because there's something to work on and some specific things to like keep improving on, it keeps the focus on those things and less about the whole mental state of trying to win the Masters. Because he sounded less confident than he normally does in some of his interviews where he's like,
I agree with that. Yeah.
oh, my game is, I think I can win this week. And he's like, oh, I think I'll try and contend this week. Which maybe isn't the answer you want to hear, but when he says he's going to win, he hasn't won anyway. So
yeah,
I don't know. I'm curious to see if they get a camera on Michael Greller. That's the real question, because if he is walking around with some swagger, then you know that he believes in Spieth.
That's a good point.
Well, I mean,
we'll see how that kind of plays out. But that's just sort of my take on the confidence thing going into this week.
yeah, I mean, honestly, Dan, that's a great point. Greller, you can always tell when Spieth is in a good spot based on what Greller's doing. I feel like when
Greller
Spieth's
knows.
game is in a really good spot, Greller will go all out to make sure that he can gain Jordan as big of a competitive edge as he can. So if he's going out there and he's out there at 6 a.m. tomorrow, walking the course while Annie and the kids got his bag for the par 3 contest, that's a really good sign. So, I don't know. I feel like regardless, Michael Greller does give a little body language that's pretty convincing to me. I think that Michael Greller is going to play a huge factor this week. I think Michael Greller needs to make sure that Jordan does not make the mistakes. And I say this exact hole almost every
What hole?
podcast going up to the Masters, and it is the ninth hole. Body language, the Hideki year, and every time I question what that week could have looked like if he had just made a 5 on that hole. So those mistakes can't happen this week. Those he's gonna make sloppy. He's gonna get sloppy up and downs. Because it's Augusta and his short game's not necessarily sharp. But those mistakes, you've got to make 5. And Jordan, we talked about this. This is a good leading into segment. My number one key for this week is no 6s on the scorecard. Just for the first 3 days, even. If he has no 6s on the scorecard through Saturday, he will be in the conversation on Sunday, barring Scott goes ballistic. And I truly believe that.
6 or worse. 6 or
yeah,
worse.
6 or worse. 6 or worse. 6 or worse. Yes, very true. Very true. Please no 9s. Please no 9s.
Or 13 like Sergio one year.
Yeah, Sergio.
Spieth has been making a mess of the par 5s as of late. And we saw that at Valero. So a couple things from Valero that were concerning. We touched on the short game a little bit, and we mentioned the wrist a little bit, which I think is probably true, right? There's got to be some sort of correlation between my wrist is bothering me and my short game shots aren't as sharp as they could be. But the par 5 play was about as bad as it gets. Jordan, do you have the number as to how he played them for the week? Was it over par?
Over par. I think he said it was over par on Sunday.
Okay, so that's crazy, right? If he plays,
he'd actually played them pretty well coming into the week, though, I'm pretty sure.
Right, and so if you're looking at trends, Spieth fits none of the statistical long-term trends coming into Augusta. But if you're looking at week-to-week trends, I think he could find some form or kind of revert to his baseline and par 5 scoring and be right there. I think that would be a sign of optimism. I think just going back to my percentage of chance of winning, I just don't believe that he has that winning it factor really that was
that you need
there
here
so long ago. And hasn't been in contention in 3 months. Serious contention. You talk about winning a green jacket, you have to actually go sack up and hit some alpha shots. And he hasn't had to do that in a long time. And so we'll see. But I think he could very well be there. And probably should. If he drives it the way he did, there's no reason to not be playing well this week.
Yeah. I feel like another factor is Augusta National is it's such a plotter's golf course. The way Tiger won in 2019, he didn't go crazy. It's just he hit it into the funnel on 7. He hit it in the right spot on 12. He hit the green on the back 9 on the par 5s and 2-putted. That's how you get around this golf course. You don't have to throw darts from the pine straw to win it Augusta. So you really just have to hit the required shot, which is why Scott is so scary this week, because Scott, as Jordan and I have stressed, is the ultimate hitter of the required shot. And Spieth sometimes tries to go for a shot a little more than the required shot. But at the end of the day, if you know this course well enough, this is one of the courses on tour where experience is so big, and someone like Jordan, who's swinging the ball well, doesn't need to necessarily play out of his mind to be in the picture on Sunday. You just have to play it the right way. It's a golf course that you can get away with making mistakes as long as you make the right ones, because it's such a hard golf course that everyone's going to make mistakes.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's well said. Par fives, obviously, you got to make your money there. He played 13 like an amateur last year. That's pretty much what he play at 13 in last year. Like even he didn't birdie 13 any day last year, and he
Should have
finished
been
what,
worse
third?
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he should have
Because
went
I think
down
he
the creek down
snap
the
hooked
left
a
side,
couple. Yeah.
made a
That got
double.
All the
on
winners play
Thursday.
the par fives really well that week.
Yeah,
To win.
I mean, the key to playing the golf course. You make pars
Yeah.
on the threes and fours, and you par the fives, and you're sitting at what, 12 under, and you're got a pretty good chance. So that's, I mean, obviously a key. I actually don't feel, you know what, I give him the benefit of the doubt with the short game. I'm gonna do that again this week. I'm sure he's working hard on it. He always short games it well here. I know it's kind of been rough as of late. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt because I'm a nice person. He's lost strokes with the short game in 3 straight events, which is really bad. I think that doesn't happen like at all. But I'm gonna be that guy. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. Like short game will be better this week. I agree with Dan though. I don't know if he has. I don't think he has the winning feel. I just don't. I just think there's too many bad shots in the bag, or a 3-putt here, a 3-putt there that you can't do. I
Lack
think
of
it's just going to
patience.
be.
He doesn't
Go
have
ahead,
the.
Elyse.
I said lack of patience. That's like one
Lack
of
of patience, obviously. I don't think it's a
Yeah.
secret. I think the birdies are going to come as they do. And it's just, can he keep the squares and the double squares off the scorecard? And I don't think he's going to be able to, but maybe he'll prove me wrong. Who knows? I mean, I honestly feel he could miss the cut, or he could, be in the picture on Sunday this year.
Yeah, that's fair. Very fair.
I know miss the cut's a little strong, but I could see
Yeah,
it.
he better. I mean, you can
I
see it
mean-
because it's happened before. Frankly, I could just see his driver head breaking tomorrow and not having a replacement and coming up with some bullshit. Just to be honest about come Thursday, why he can't find a fairway off the tee, because that seems to happen once every month. But he drove it fantastic last week, right? And you can get away with that stuff around Augusta, a little bit, some misses, and we haven't. Funny enough, we briefly talked about the iron play, and I'm curious if you have it up, Jordan, but the wedge numbers, I think we are probably not in the 3rd percentile anymore from inside 150.
See, we're not, but I was going to bring up the stat that I do have up. And if you look at Augusta National on Data Golf in the last 3 years, they show the boxes of the shots where the distances that are most commonly hit from. And there's 4 that are the last 3 years they're above average on tour, 3 of 3 years of the data that we have on Data Golf. Jordan is below average in 2 of them, 175 to 200 yards and 225 to 250. And you're hitting a lot of shots from those distances, and proximity wise, he's not been very good. So that's just a stat. You can't run from it. He's below average in both of them. He is above average at 150 to 175 and 50 to 75, which are also big. So he's above average in 2, below average in 2. So
And I mean,
when you're in the fairway on 11 Thursday afternoon and you got to hit a good shot from 200 yards, can he do it?
Yeah. And you're looking, I'm looking at those 2 specific holes in 11 and 5, and I'm just like, well, 5, he's gonna make a bogey one of the days, just because he hit it in the bunker, right? Like that's just how 5 is. He
don't blow it
can't
right into the bushes.
He can't
Seen that.
hit a good drive, have 185 yards into 5, miss the green, and make a sloppy bogey. That cannot happen.
Right. The bogeys from the fairways were still very much present last week.
The fairways from the bogeys have got to be limited this week.
The fairways.
Limited? They got to be non-existent.
Well, it's the Masters. The greens.
I mean, if it's one of the harder holes, but
it's one thing to
not with a wedge. Yeah, I'm talking about
one thing to make a 5 on 11 or a 5 on 5. It's another to rip a draw down 10 and then have a pitching wedge that
Just
short
flared into the
side.
bunker.
Yeah, flare into the bunker, roll it out to 12 feet, leave the putt short for par. I mean, you could picture that almost. But we'll see. And that's another one of the points of there's feels like just too many mistakes in the game to actually win a tournament of this caliber. But who knows? Maybe he just like pops. Maybe he peaks, right? Like that could be that's a thing that happens to normal golfers. I don't know why it can't happen to him at some
I agree.
point. But,
Yeah. Yeah.
Very, very
Sure.
well said.
it's certainly and like I said, he got better every day. Plenty of time to work on the short game, as long as that wrist doesn't flare up, which he seems to think it doesn't when he's using it, which is interesting. It's more when spending time with the kids that the wrist appears to become a problem. Anyway, but
What happens if we have a flare up mid round? Not to speak that into existence, but like, what happens if that happens?
I think it's probably he tries to play one handed for a few holes and then
Does he get the physio out, or does like
I
He
mean,
he pulls a
nuts?
Scott or a
The
Batia.
way Spieth was taught, I mean, it's a tendon issue, right? And like tendons like flare up, like tendon flare ups are very bad. I'm digging into my PhD or whatever
Talking
or
about
MD or whatever. I'm going full doctor here, but I've had plenty of tendon issues in my life, and I feel there are times when if a tendon flares up, like you can't like do anything.
Yeah.
with it.
No, I
So
can only
I feel like
imagine.
I feel like the thing is, I'm not too worried because we have not seen it happen in a round.
Yeah.
But I feel like if he's like leading or like two back on Sunday,
Oh, he's playing through it.
like
He's playing through it.
I feel like if like what does happen then? I feel like it could be a point where he physically can't swing the golf club.
I think the thing is too, if he can feel a flare up, it's going to become mental too. Not only is it going to be
Yeah.
physical, he's going to be thinking about my wrist, which is a
But I
problem.
also feel like if he is close to lead on Sunday, again, professional athletes have ways to get it through medication, doctors, physios, treatment to get it to a point where they can get through the day.
Yeah, I mean, if he's in the picture,
I mean
Sunday,
that's almost
he
a
ain't
thing in
Wisconsin.
all. Like I mean, we see people play on broken things all the time in other sports.
Torn
On
ACLs.
yeah, just they play through it for one day. Like if he's close to lead on Sunday, now if it happens Thursday and he legitimately can't swing a club, that could be bad.
Yeah.
That could
Again,
be
I don't want to speak it into existence,
yeah.
but it's an interesting thought.
Yeah, it is. And, I don't really think we need to talk about it too much just because, like, I mean, again, like,
It's an if. Yeah.
we've spoken a lot into existence potentially this
We haven't
evening.
spoken a victory pod into an existence yet. I'll tell you
No,
that.
we're not doing that this week. I'm declaring he's not winning. He can prove me
That's
wrong.
fair.
But
That's fair.
I'll give away a Scotty Cameron if he wins.
I'll give away a day of scripting.
Nice.
You heard Bob and I. There's giveaways here. We get a win.
Interesting.
Giveaways.
I
Lot of
will
giveaways.
think
Who
of
is winning,
something.
Dan, if you think he's not winning?
Who is winning?
Well, I feel like that's good. I feel like that's a
great
good segue.
segue.
I feel
Yeah.
like
Big word from you, Bob.
yeah, thank you. Arizona State student here. Appreciate
ASU
that.
grad. Oh, not grad yet.
Well, not even close to grad. We're gonna try and bring those graduations numbers up. But I say this every year. I feel like the Masters is one of the events where only a certain number of people can win. Just because of the course, the prestige. I think Jack Nicklaus, it could have been someone else. I'm pretty sure it's Jack Nicklaus said in an interview a while ago, he was like, half of the field is already eliminated by the time they tee off. Just based on mental pressure, golf game,
Brooks said that.
experience.
Brooks has said
I think that might be a
Um,
Koepka quote.
Yeah, that's
It could
definitely
be. I know Jack said something like that, but regardless, I feel like it's very true. And I tweeted on my personal account that at that time I believed only 6 people can win the Masters. Now that list has changed a bit since, but I do believe the list is about the same size. Maybe 6 to 10, probably. So, and I think Jordan's one of them, but he's probably on the low end. Um, I truly do believe only a certain number of people can win, and I think that my pick for this week is probably Hideki.
Wow.
And or at the very least, no, I'm not saying that. My pick for this week is Scotty Scheffler. I think Scotty Scheffler is going to win this tournament, and if I had to put my life on it, I'd put it on Scotty Scheffler. But I think Hideki is the best bet.
Beat Scotty.
Well, I
Gonna
think
beat him.
I just value purposes. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't think Scotty at 4-1, anyone's taking that who's not single bulleting him. So you're right. My pick to win is not Hideki Matsuyama. Let me be very clear. My pick to win is Scotty Scheffler. I do think, unfortunately, I mean, we saw kind of a chalk March Madness. I do kind of think this is going to be pretty chalk. I just think he's hitting the ball so much better than everyone else that, like nobody could win by the amount that Scott could win this week. Um, and I just think that he's so far and above the best player in the world right now that it would be silly for me to think otherwise. Nobody has a better, no one has even close to a chance that Scott has this week. Scott plays well, he's going to win this golf tournament. But I do think Hideki at the number he's at, and I know Elyse, I think you agree with me. You have him on your card. Hideki is kind of sneaky right now, and Hideki is a player who plays this course very well. He's won recently. He's been in good form. He's always very silent. But Hideki,
Doesn't speak English very well, so
yeah, well, yeah, that's I
I don't
meant
know if
more
that's
in
what you're kidding.
I meant more in a sense of like the hype around him. But
I was pretty
that
large
that
this
is
week,
correct. He
but
does
yeah.
not speak
The U.S.
English.
hype around him, the Japanese hype around him is crazy.
Yeah, well, yes, of course. Not among our Twitter verse though. So I do think that Hideki is one to look out for this week. Just simply because he can handle that big moment, and I think that if he hadn't won that Masters, I feel like he might have even gotten one by now. Some major. I mean, Hideki was the number 2 golfer in the world at one point. I mean, Hideki has been at the big stage. He's hitting the ball just fine. I think if he puts it all together this week, there's a lot of value on him. And I think he's in that list. I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Who else is in that list? Obviously, you have the Brookses, the Roms. But I want to know who else you guys think has a chance to win this week. Because I feel like that's a big question.
Are we giving our picks right now?
No, I
Not
want
even
to.
picks. I just
Before
think
we do that, yeah, I want to hear Elise's list because I
Yeah,
think I've got a
like,
list
I
of.
thought we're picking our one winner, which is not really
I've
our
got
yeah,
a
I just want to hear
like
everyone's
guys who.
one winner first.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say
Yeah.
guys who could win, but
Yeah.
I agree with you. The number of people who can win is very short. The Masters is the stickiest course history out of any of the courses on tour. So that already eliminates a lot of people who don't necessarily have a good course history here, like Bryson. I've seen a ton of Bryson this week. I
Don't
don't
know
know
what they're
why,
thinking.
given that he does not play well here.
That's being
My pick to
nice.
win, other than Scotty, I'm gonna leave Scotty aside just because well, it's not fun to really pick Scotty. Like that's the boring answer, but it's also probably the correct answer. But my pick, as I said on Twitter, Xander
bang.
Schauffele,
Wow.
100%. I mean, he's playing really well. He has a good record here.
Is it his time, Elise?
I think it's his time. I think he'll have learned, hopefully, from the players, maybe turn into like a Brooks situation last year where Brooks lost the Masters and then he went on to win the PGA. Um, I, it might take a little bit of luck for Xander to win, but
Does he lack sack?
Oh, jeez.
Just being honest.
I mean, he's not like he hasn't won anything. It's not like Scam Young where he hasn't won anything and people are expecting him to
Yeah.
win. It's going to be a major. So he has won on tour and he's just like striking it so well. And his around the green game has really improved this year. Just all like he's just firing on all cylinders, basically.
Yeah. I mean, to Elise's point, and I'm a huge agenda person, and I do have a Xander agenda, as everyone knows. But of Xander's 6 wins, he is like they were close wins. Like he had to fend off big names. So it's not like he can't do it. He doesn't do it more than he does, sure. But and I still wouldn't say he has sack, but I mean I don't think it's outrageous. I mean he does play very well here, so I think it'll be interesting. I don't know what your guys' thoughts on Xander are, but
Well,
yeah.
it feels like one of those situations where if you knock on the door enough, it's gonna open, right? And Xander made it somewhat interesting in the Hideki Masters for maybe 10 minutes of real time before he splashed on 16. And he was leading the players, as Elyse mentioned, you know, with what, 4 or 5 holes to go before Scheffler kind of took over and Xander, a couple 14, 15, I think he went bogey, right? A couple tough up and downs, not kind of getting it done that way. I think what's interesting about Xander is because he's so consistent when he needs that spike, when he needs that save, I'm not sure it's like quite there, you know? It almost feels like on the back nine of a Sunday, he has to play perfect. Like he has to hit a bunch of really good shots consecutively, or else he's not gonna be able to bail himself out. Whereas, say, I mean, it's easy to just point to Spieth as somebody who can recover from a terrible shot, but he could miss it 30 yards left of the green, you know, chip it up to 8 feet somehow and make the putt. It feels like Xander would hit it 15 yards left of the green, somehow dunk it down to about 10 and then miss the putt. And it just feels like it's there's not that he doesn't ever have a bailout for himself. And that feels like at some point he's not going to need one, or it's a trend of shoot, this guy just doesn't have the bailout card, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. Doesn't have the magic beans, doesn't have the it.
Yeah.
But he's flushing it. And there's only a few guys that are really close to Scotty's level. I mean, let me rephrase. Scotty is in a different stratosphere of flushing it right now, but Xander and Hideki are two guys that are hitting the ball great. And if Scotty wasn't flushing it like Scotty is right now, I think it'd be a serious kind of 3-horse discussion at the top in terms of who's going to win this tournament. Obviously, you give the edge to Scheffler and then probably Hideki next because they have the experience doing so. But Xander should be amongst the favorites. And I think if he doesn't play well this week, that's like a real negative on his resume and season outlook.
That's well said. And I'd agree. I don't. Xander will not be one of my 3 pod plays, but I mean, it kind of speaks for himself. He's second in the data golf. I don't really have to say much more than that. He's played great golf, consistent golf. What I want Jordan Spieth to be doing. He's just a lot of green on the data golf page. T5, T2, T25, T4. There's a T9, a T3, a T10 this year. I mean, he is just consistent, and it does seem like he's due. I just don't think it's going to be the Masters. I don't think he doesn't scream Masters guy to me. It's just as simple as that.
I kind of
think he would have won the
disagree.
Players. That's just my
I
opinion.
kind of disagree, Jordan. I feel like if he's
Because
going
Elyse is on a bone.
No, I just kind of feel like if that is true. I am an Elyse merchant. I'm
She got you
very
Patia last week.
I'm very open about my Elyse merchantness, but I do feel like if he's ever going to win a major, I feel like it will be the Masters. He's played so well here, I feel like.
Really?
And it's the easiest one to win, technically.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
it is a small field, which is Xander.
small field, and
Well,
Xander's a small field merchant, as we all know.
yeah, I would argue it's not necessarily maybe it is. I don't know.
Brooks said it's the easiest one, whatever that's worth.
Yeah, I mean,
It's one that Brooks hasn't won.
yeah, we can. I mean, I guess that's a nice discussion for another time. But I mean, yeah, I do think that Xander does kind of give Masters vibes. I think if I had to give a career prediction for Xander, I say he wins one major, and I think it's the Masters. So, yeah.
I feel like Xander.
He's gonna win the U.S. Open next time he goes to Torrey. Okay.
Wow. Okay, that's a take right there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a. I mean, it's not a bad
Problem
one. It's
still
very
exists though, so that's the problem.
realistic. Yeah, I could see Xander win at Valhalla this year. It almost Xander's interesting because it feels like maybe we're on him. Not we're on him. I'm acting like I have money on this, but people might be on him a major too early. It could be one of those cases where he actually kind
Yeah.
of peaks at Valhalla, but um, we'll see. I mean, he's playing well, right? You
He's gonna
can't
be
deny
bet a
that.
lot at Valhalla too, which is funny.
Yeah,
Well,
but so,
he's never won tip this week.
I
Xander.
mean, good on him, man. His game plays anywhere. The only place I want to take him is the Open because he just, I don't know.
Yeah, I'd
That's the
agree with
random
that.
one, but his game travels. Like he ain't like Spieth who can only play well to freaking Masters or Open. Xander could play well at the U.S. Masters, PGA, and he showed that.
Which I think is why his career feels frustrating, right? Is because his game is so on the PGA. It feels so like A minus across the board that in total it's an A to A plus game on tour, and he just can't get it done at any of these spots. But yeah, so Xander, good play this week. Hideki, same thing. I don't know if you have more thoughts on Hideki Elyse, but I feel like he's also a popular.
Bob covered it well. That the same reasons I like
Yeah,
it.
George. Elise, I'd love to get in. I'd love you to just go through your entire outright card because I'd love you to not the most fascinating thing that I get from feedback from Elise coming on the pod, people DMing me is her reasoning behind because every Masters card she always has tons of futures. So I'd love to know what futures. I mean, most of them are futures, but like I feel like people really love the insight of why you love them at the time and then lead into like why you either like them the same, like them less, like them more now. So I'd love to go through your entire outright card.
Bob,
I
something
know.
your screen.
Oh,
It's
nice.
me.
Hold on. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Yeah. Did I cut out or was it just my screen?
It was
Your
just
screen,
screen.
yeah, your
Okay.
screen was
Going haywire.
wacky.
Yeah, I saw it for a second. But yeah, anyways. I'd love you to go through your card top to bottom, besides obviously Xander and Hideki, which we've already gone through. But I know you always unleash a little bit more units on Masters Week, but still, I'd love to hear your reasoning, starting with quite the snipe of Scott.
Oh yeah. I do have like Scotty 8.5 to 1, which for is
That's
like
crazy.
considering that he's like 4 to 1 now. It's crazy. We actually had Scotty at 40 to 1 when he won.
Oh
That
my God, I forgot about that.
insane.
That was outrageous.
I still can't believe a book dangled him at that price.
Yeah.
He'd come off like how many wins? He had like 2 or 3 wins already that season. And I mean, we hit Rom last year. We are like the Masters we've hit like pretty much every year partly because it is like the easiest to predict. It really
Yeah.
is. There's not that many people that can win. Long shots don't win. This is not Nick Taylor 171 win week. This is a like 20 to 1 and below week.
Shout out Nick Taylor though. No Nick, we love Nick Taylor.
We do. It's not even like a Batia week or
That was incredible.
like it's not a 7 to 1 week. It's really like you gotta look at the top of the board. So like and you just gotta look at people who can win the Masters, who have a good record at the Masters. So most of the people have that. I mean, I have a future on Brooks. 28 to 1. He's Brooks Koepka, and you can't just I had him for the PGA last year. You can't overlook that guy at the majors. I mean, I don't love that he doesn't have like as good of a form as he seemed to last year coming in. Last year kind of
Yeah.
spiked towards as he was coming into the Masters, and then he carried that through the PGA. Because like a Masters, not only have to have good course history here, but you also have to be striking the ball well. What like
Did you?
Kyle Porter has the stat where the winners are coming in with 1.7 strokes gained per round since January, or like the last 3 months coming in. And usually there's a couple exceptions. Patrick Reed and I think Danny Will or Sergio, one of those two was like the other exception. But for the most part, like it's pretty easy because just look at who's hot and then who has good history around here and combine the two. So it's really the most predictable major. And that's why I hung my hat early on last week and said Xander was winning. Because I really believe that.
Yeah.
So, I like Zalatoris I have a little bit on just because it's Zalatoris. He has a really good record here. He was, in his debut was like almost as good as Spieth. And he's really good in the majors. I don't love that he's coming off of like 2 missed cuts. And he was like doing so well. Like he was trending really well after the injury. Of course, the first time he came back was really shaky. That was to be expected. And then he kept getting better in terms of his play up until he almost won. And then, after that, it dropped off again. So that's a little concerning to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I have some free bets on people as well. Oh, Thigala is another one I really like. Just because Thigala, you look at where he plays well. Guess where he plays well? Exact courses of Spieth, waste management, like
Really? I didn't even think about that actually.
Century.
it's Century.
Yeah.
So I see him playing well at Colonial for 2, and he's going to play well. He plays well at Augusta. He has I think he was T9 in his debut last year, something like that. So just they're really similar. Their games are really similar.
It's
In fact, like
sick that they're paired together. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
the Masters,
cut you
the
off,
down
but
purpose.
yeah, no, it's gonna be chaos on that shot tracker between those two. Anyway,
Let's put the fun people together, or the like chaotic, not like, as close to Phil, whatever. Like
yeah,
when Phil was in his prime, golfers together. So one bet I really don't like. I have a $25 free bet on Hovland.
oh
Woof. I hate that.
Yeah.
yeah,
Hovland is in. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. He's
in a
bouncing
dark spot.
coaches. He's going
Getting
back to
worse.
the coach. He's regressed significantly. He's just really at this point. He seems lost. Like he really seems lost. And according to people that are on the ground, he also seems lost. Like when they watch him, so that all of that does not like look good for Hovland.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, because you cashed him out, right?
No, can't. It's a free bet.
Oh, right. Right. Forgot about that. Oh well.
So I think that's pretty much it. Um,
Yeah. I mean, an interesting because obviously value is half the battle in gambling, right? But an interesting comment in the chat said if everyone were equal odds, what are your top 5 bets to win? Obviously, Scotty, Xander,
Hideki.
Hideki. Who else? Like, do you still go with those people like Brooks, or do you say Rom?
Rom. We haven't talked about Rom at all, but the only thing like kind of knocking against Rom right now is that he won last year, and like
Yeah,
Masters
literally,
winners
that's what I've been
don't
saying. Yeah, that's the only
repeat
thing going against
as
it.
winners. So I think Rom has to be up there, and the last person. I want to say Rory, but I also don't want to say Rory.
Ooh, I was wondering when we might talk about Rory. It's been a weird kind of Rory week so far.
Won't be in the
It's
picture
been a
this
weird
week.
week. Well, every year is weird because he changes what he's doing
It
at this
just
point.
feels like maybe, I guess maybe every year is a maybe, right? But
Maybe
there's
he
something
makes the cut.
about he flushed it last week. Um, and again, maybe being focused on a swing in that way, in terms of having that thought might get him out of the mental space of trying to win the Masters. And that could be interesting. It'll be a little bit softer the first few days, right? So who knows? Rory could be relevant. And it'd be fun. It'd be fun if Rory was hunting the green jacket because we haven't seen that since his right. He hasn't really come that close.
The closest that he's been, I think, was Patrick Reed's year when he was in the final group with Patrick Reed and then
Oh,
proceeded to immediately hit it completely. I think was it left or like into the trees on the very first hole. And then I was like, it's done. No
nice.
chance.
If say Spieth and Rory are in like I can't even say this with a straight face. Spieth and Rory are in like a Stenson Mickelson situation on Sunday where they're the only two that can win. I mean, just
Be phenomenal
it's
for the
just
game.
it's just
Yeah,
so
the
unrealistic.
ratings would be huge.
Um, how do I want to hear Jordan and Dan's thoughts and Elyse. How are you feeling going into Sunday tied with Rory? No one else is in the conversation compared to other people in that range.
Feel pretty good.
Yeah.
I honestly, there's so much more pressure on Rory.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Way more pressure.
We have a
I
jacket. He
also
doesn't.
I also feel like if Spieth is in a Stenson Mickelson situation with like Brooks, it's like
Oh,
caked. Because I feel like Brooks will just figure out every weakness and just exploit it and just destroy him mentally.
You sound like it's a boxing fight.
No, well, it kind of is. I
Brooks
mean,
would win on
It
a
would be
boxing
in that
fight.
situation, though.
to Kepka, it's Brooks knows there's 10 guys that can win. And
Yeah.
he's playing with who's he? He's playing with Harmon, which is that's sick, actually. We haven't
What a
That's
great
not good for
group.
Brooks.
what an awesome group. The Harmon Kepka just alphaness will be running across the grounds of Augusta National in that group. But um Brooks is interesting because he didn't play well last weekend on the Live Miami swing, and he switched his putter, right? I'm not sure how I feel about that because I think it feels like there's too many moving pieces for a guy that when he's at his best is entirely robotic,
Yeah,
almost.
that's fair.
But I don't know. At least do you have? I know you have like a future on him, but do you have any other Brooks tidbits? I guess.
Mm, not really. I mean, I don't like the fact that he switched his putter. That's always a concern. Because he's won a lot with that. Like when he won the PGA, he was like he couldn't miss inside 5 feet. Really, it's like everything was
Yeah,
going. Like, um,
very true.
so the fact that you switch a putter means you don't have really confidence in your putting, um,
Right.
or you're like not seeing something correctly, and is that going to get fixed overnight? I,
Probably not.
I probably not. So
Especially
Yeah,
not at Augusta.
yeah, and like I said, Augusta's like one of those places you need to have form. Like you need to kind of be hot coming in. Most of the winners are trending
Yeah.
before they come in.
it's fair.
We do have a question in the chat. This one's funny.
I'll have to hear that. I
Mentioned
think
that
we also
Brooks thinks there's only 12, or excuse me, 10 guys that could win. Does he think Spieth is one of those 10 guys? I think the answer is yes, but it is funny to think about the idea
that
of
is a really good question. And speaking of Ryan, I believe he'd like to get in here, and I'd love to hear some of his take. So
Yeah,
I that is actually such a good question.
I think he has to. because he's done
Yeah.
it before.
So who
But-
would Brooks' list be? Scotty,
Probably
Rom.
Rory.
Scotty, Rom, probably Rory, I guess.
Maybe Hideki.
Harmon's definitely in there for Brooks. Brooks knows that Harmon will never go away.
That's a good point. I'd have to agree
Maybe-
with that.
Maybe
I'd have
Xander.
to agree that Harmon is on the list.
I don't know. Is Brooks worried about like Xander and Cantlay?
I don't know. Definitely not Cantlay.
I don't see. Brooks
I'm. You know what?
worried about
The
Xander.
worst. I
I'm
think
just
the
so
worst ending. The worst ending for this Masters would be if Cantlay wins.
Cantlay's not.
Where
winning.
he hasn't been. I haven't seen him in a month. I haven't
Cantlay's
heard
not
of his
winning.
name in a month.
Cantlay's not winning.
Cantlay's not
And
winning.
if he wins, it's gonna be. I might. I don't even want to like.
There's a
think about
there's a 0.000 chance Cantlay.
He better not. He better not because
Wow.
it just I can't fathom a world in which
I mean,
Patrick Cantlay
a lot of
is
people
the
have
Donovan
0%
Jackson.
chance of winning right now. 0% chance of winning Cantlay, Morikawa, JT,
Right.
Hovland. None of those four are winning. Calling it right
Nice.
now.
That's good. It's nice to hear JT's not winning. And also Morikawa might miss the cut. Like he's in the last group, and if he plays all day Friday, it's gonna be pretty windy. Shoot. Who knows where that
Yeah.
guy is with his game?
Yeah.
Tom Kim also not winning.
Oh,
Tom Kim, lucky
I'll
to
give
be
Kim.
With
Hold
He
on.
sucks.
I think I'm
with
having
the
technical
flag in the
difficulties.
background.
I
Does
hear a
nobody
guest.
else hear the Angels game?
What?
I'm
Nobody
hearing
cares about the-
play-by-play
nobody cares
for
about the
Los
Angels, they
Angeles
suck.
Angels.
They suck.
What happened to the Angels?
What are you
Hold
talking
on,
about?
I'm gonna leave for a second.
Thanks for the phenomenal guest.
What a disaster.
well, in the meantime, thoughts on Neiman?
Oh, see, I feel like Neiman
Oh.
is such an
I'm playing
enigma.
Neiman this week.
He's
Oh,
playing so well, but have you looked at his course history at the Masters?
No, is it bad?
Yes.
Apologies, my Twitter.
He's
went-
also playing the best golf of his life, though, in fairness.
That is true. I mean, and he does have like he won at
oh
Riviera.
no.
He won Genesis.
Yeah.
So you want a good comp course. Like that is a good comp course.
Yeah. I'm a roll with him.
Ryan, what are your thoughts on Neiman this week?
I was very heavily. That is the one live player outside of Brooks that we don't have that I am quite worried that could burn us.
Yeah, that's what I'm
It's
saying.
Really,
I feel like
concerning.
it's just such a weird dynamic. We've never really seen this, I feel like.
The thing that I go back to is he really never had a chance at a major before he went to live.
Yeah.
So, like,
But-
I don't know.
But was he ever playing anywhere
35,
near this?
16.
No, that's true, but still, I feel like you need some major experience, even if he's playing absurd.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I mean, he does have a T16. Like, that can be. Yeah.
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 I don't know.
That's his highest finish in a major.
Well, Ryan, we reference Ryan on the podcast a lot. He says a
viewer.
lot of things that are worth bringing up. Ryan is probably one of the biggest Spieth fans on the planet. How are
Great
you
track skills
feeling?
also.
Because this is how we opened up our podcast today, talking about how the Valero, where the Valero has us sitting after going into the Valero with a 0.0. Where do we sit now?
Much better. I heard you guys talking about it's a 2% chance. I would put it at a 5% chance is where I'm firmly at.
Whoa!
Optimistic.
Yeah. I mean, because you think Data Golf has like 0.6% chances thrown out to like 10 guys. Those guys have 0. So those add up to guys that actually have chances. The approach numbers, I think, at Valero were fluky because of the ace, obviously. But the around the green, like Jordan said, should not be as bad as it has been. I was floored to hear it was 3 straight events it was losing. That like made me collapse to the floor with how bad it's been. But driving last week was incredible, but that is not a huge factor at Augusta. I think 5% is a good number.
Interesting.
Where's
Mhm.
Scott's percent, Ryan? What do you have him at?
50.
Oh,
50.
okay.
It's a coin flip if he wins.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Mhm.
It really could be.
Yeah.
It was impressive that he took a week off and then still. I mean, he missed a 6-footer to go to a playoff in Houston after a week off. I
Mhm.
thought the week off might cool him off by more than just a shot off the lead, but my goodness, like we talk about all these other names, they don't matter if Scheffler's playing his best stuff because he'll win by 6.
Mhm. I
Yeah.
did predict last year that Ron would win by 6. I think my official prediction is Scotty by 8.
Oh,
Okay.
I think it's
Okay,
not
gonna
winning by
Ryan,
8.
Ryan, you said you were going down 2 avenues. We must know what the other avenue was because that
Yeah.
was a very triumphant prediction last year.
it should not be a hard avenue to predict. It would be a Jordan Spieth triumph of
Okay.
proportion.
Just wanted to
But
make sure.
a more realistic one is I heard you guys talking about it earlier. My pick outside of Scotty, I was contemplating 2 names, and I think I've landed on one. And as this golfer is probably biggest hater over the past 4 years, it pains me to say. Truthfully, it hurts my soul. I think if Scotty does not win, Xander wins the Masters. Sadly.
Wow. Wow,
Yeah.
that is big
Wow.
coming from you.
Mm-hmm. I did predict correctly that he would win the Olympics because it was such a pathetic field.
Humble brag. Humble
Probably my
brag.
greatest prediction.
I believe you also tried to invalidate his Travelers Championship win for weeks on end.
I stand by that. That was an epic crowning from Thigala that gave him a win. That was not
Well,
deserved.
at least,
he did win
I
the
mean,
Scottish a few weeks after. That was a valid victory.
yeah, I mean, you're obviously as unbiased as it gets, so
Ryan, give me a dark horse.
To win,
Yeah.
Yes.
oh, I go down the odds list.
Olafable.
You know, his name will definitely be in the conversation come Thursday.
Is
For
there a
Henry,
senior citizen at maybe 300 to 1?
Phil Mickelson.
Ah,
Actually, maybe
I
Phil.
heard. I was listening to NLU pod earlier today, and KVV alluded to this earlier, and I kind of agree with them. There's always an old guy who pops around that's always had success at Augusta that comes around every few years that pokes his head out and eventually they do win. Justin Rose
No way.
could be a guy
No
who
way.
turned back the clock.
wow.
He always plays well
Wow.
at Augusta.
That is such a big J prediction right there. I mean, the
Mhm.
research, I mean, that kind of fits like the Sergio script.
Yeah, I think it is the exact same script.
That is so interesting.
Obviously, I mean,
I'll be
Good win for
honest.
Team Rose.
it's always fun to see Team Rose in the mix.
I'll be honest. If I'm missing, I don't know if I'm missing anyone, but if I'm looking at how old is Justin Rose?
45. He's old.
Yeah,
45?
if I'm he's 43. If I'm looking at anyone like Justin Rose and older, I mean, I'm still giving the best chance to Mickelson, I think.
Agree. Agree.
I feel like there isn't many situations in which Mickelson is not in the conversation on Sunday.
May
I
I pose
agree.
a question? Is it entirely possible with his live results that Phil doesn't shoot 79 on Thursday?
He's not going to shoot 7.
I don't know. Is he off in the morning on Thursday?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we haven't talked about him yet, but my worry about Tiger this week is that he has to play 36 on Friday, and he just can't do that. Just
Can he
based
play
on
18 in one day?
the weather.
No, yeah. Weather-wise.
He's scrapping because Thursday seems like a mess Thursday morning. And if Tiger has to
So
then get
disheartening.
has to play 36 on Friday in tough conditions, making that walk twice in the same day. It could be a short week for some of the older folks if that's the kind of range that they're in. Obviously, I'd expect Olazabal to be T6 after round 1 and 2, but
Olazabal will definitely be T6 come the first hour and a half of play.
yes, that you can always count on Olazabal to make an early birdie to get the roars started around Augusta National.
That Hoffman's like not in the field because I always loved seeing Hoffman.
Oh, he would have been such a good FRL bet.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm very interested at the Justin Rose pick. I feel like
it does kind of fit a narrative.
Maybe not him per se, but I definitely love the narrative of one of these old time.
Yeah, no, guys. That's fair.
I think Sergio has a better chance than Justin Rose.
Yeah, but he's
Sergio,
already won.
Like, was Sergio almost won last week?
Yeah. He also missed a 2-footer to win.
That's true. Which is kind of, that's funny.
Ryan, do we see Danny Willett making any noise this week?
No. Hopefully Danny Willett is a withdraw before Saturday. It would just rid Augusta National of unnecessary matter. That's on the premises.
Interesting point.
That's my official stance on Mr. Willett.
It's invited
Ryan, I have a question for you. Ryan,
I
have a question for you. For Mr. Spieth win, give me 3 keys to victory.
I mean, you got no sixes. No sixes, absolutely. Okay. I think he must play every single round the par 5s and -2. He cannot play the par 5s worse than -2 every day. And then I think
it's a lot to ask.
Well, the winner is usually -8.5 on par 5s for the week. It's not too much to ask in my opinion.
Are you saying averaging or can't do it?
What do you mean?
Like, what if he goes 3 and then 1?
You just have to get to the magic 8.5.
I guess that would work. Average would work, I guess. But
I mean,
ideally, it's -2 every day.
For Spieth's mental state, it's probably better if it's more consistent. Because if he could go -5 one day and then +1 the next, then
that's more likely to happen than consistent -2 across the board.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll give my third point. I always feel like Thursdays and then Sundays especially, the stretch of 4 to 6 has plagued him so brutally. He has to play that stretch like a professional on an amateur.
18 too.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like 2021 and 2022, he had sloppy 3 putts on 4 both Thursdays.
Yeah, Spieth has been in that stretch has been that funnel pin on 6 merchant to bail him out of some blasphemous scores on that stretch.
Yeah.
So, I'm with you. I feel like he almost always gets to 4 under par on Thursday and is not under par on 70.
Biggest stretch I would love on Thursday, especially for his lowest score under par to not, let me rephrase, he has to finish at the lowest score he reaches. He cannot get to -4, -5, and finish -2, -3.
I mean,
it's every tournament, but this tournament it has to be that way.
That's fair, and I mean that's something we rehash on every week. The problem is, Spieth has a not great relationship with the 18th hole. That's not ideal.
Is very woke.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it must get bent.
Yeah.
This week.
Ryan, Tyler in the chat mentioned Adam Scott. Would that fit your Justin Rose narrative?
Yeah, but I think in my head I'm thinking of first time champions. Like
Yeah.
Justin Rose really should have be a Masters champion between 2017 and 15. And I think he had one other very close call too. Like like on the data golf, I feel like there's a data golf stat where it says the amount of majors you should have. I think it would equate to at least a full green jacket for Justin Rose.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
This is some chilling insight.
Yeah, Ryan, this has been fantastic.
Ryan brings the good info.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think as we start to wrap it up here, there are some other talking points I'd like to get to quickly. Number one, what is our stance? I know, just on live in general with being in the field, such as like the Taylor Gooches of the world. Do we feel like it's unfortunate that they're not here? I mean, I do feel like, Taylor Gooch, just like the presence he brings makes me say no, just because it's like annoying. But like he is one of the better golfers in the world, so it's like,
Is he?
Debatable. Yeah,
Is he though?
well, he is the best iron player we've ever seen. If you saw,
Fair.
yeah,
Fair.
yeah,
Fair. Very fair.
the best
It's
iron
weird.
player of all time. So let's
Mm-hmm.
keep that in mind.
I don't
It's
feel
weird
bad
that-
for Mr. Gooch or Mr. Burmeister.
Yeah.
Mr.
I know.
Gooch is a one-time top 13er at major championships. I
Yeah,
don't think his presence will be missed.
I hate to dig into Ryan's skeletons, but Ryan used to be a huge Dean Burmeister fan.
Yes. In
I
the
used to be a
old
Gooch
days
fan,
of
so,
loose cards formations from me and Mr. Blue, I would always be pulling very hard for Dean Burmeister editions.
Yeah, those were good times. And yeah, Elyse, you loved Gooch. We were all over the range goats last season. We had an outright on them and everything.
he's also one of the dumbest people I think I've ever like met.
He's not an intelligent human being.
No, I
Burmeister?
mean, it's crazy when you make a statement that has DJ looking at you like you're just an idiot. So
The Masters will
Um,
not be
oh, is
Gooch
that the
certified.
right
DJ
of
allegedly
statement?
has a 145 IQ. Apparently,
DJ?
saw that
Wow.
somewhere.
DJ does
Really?
seem like he's pretty smart.
Really?
He just seems like he's kind of like nonchalant, like doesn't care about anything.
Malcolm
Rich
X.
Johnson's not a smart human being. So
Yeah.
You're
you're
talking about live guys that aren't here. I didn't realize Louis Oosthuizen's not here.
Yeah, that's
That's-
unfortunate.
I feel like
Mm.
my whole childhood,
Perennial runner-up Louis Oosthuizen.
I just
My
remember
whole-
Oosthuizen doing something at the Masters every year.
My whole childhood was a South African making noise at the Masters every time. Whether
Yeah.
it was Schwartzel, Oosthuizen, what's the other one? There was one more, I think.
Schwarzenegger was a
Oh,
sneaky,
Immelman.
that was a sneaky good Masters.
Oh, I wasn't really alive for
Yeah.
Immelman.
That was exciting. Like I know Scotty's probably gonna win by 6 or whatever, but I really want a freaking exciting Masters. We haven't had that. It's like
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We haven't really had an exciting March Madness either recently. It's kind of been
May
just
I pose a question?
Yes.
Question?
Of course.
Take Spieth out of the equation. What is your personal most exciting Masters Sunday you would wish for?
No Spieth.
No, Spieth is not in this question.
Rory wins.
You.
Mm-hmm.
You.
Rory
ew.
hate- so what is the beef with Rory?
That
That
would be awesome.
He's just
A
like a
Rory
little-
win would bring the chills for sure.
I mean, it would be kind of chilling. I won't lie, but I'd hate to see it.
I think the answer has to be Mickelson.
Yeah, Mickelson is my. I mean, every major. I
was
feel
gonna
like
say Mickelson.
I feel like every major Mickelson is second best case scenario for me, and Mickelson's not even like a top 3 golfer of mine all time. I just feel like the scenes, especially since like he's such like a I mean, he's even called him like just such a like a sociopath. Like he's just like
Mm-hmm.
everything he's done with the live
No, he's an enigma.
comments he's made to win the Masters with a high flyers hat on would just be unbelievable. It would be unbelievable to see.
It'd be massive for the
and
High
even
Flyers
Ryan-
brand.
Even Ryan, I know, is hugely on board with that.
I
Oh
think
yes. Hefty winning the U.S. Open is the only scenario I kind of think about where would I rather that happen than Spieth win? That's the only scenario because a Hefty Grand Slam is bone chilling just
Yeah.
thinking about.
I think it'd be cool. So two other names. I like Kepka. I just like the way he dominates people on the golf course. So if he had a green jacket, I think that'd be fitting. But why not give B Harmon a green jacket? And he
B.
just has the
Harmon,
last
yes.
Mhm.
if he just has the last two majors, that's sick.
That would be
Like,
pretty dope.
The
We'd be two
champion
away from
golf
the Harmon Slam.
we would be two major we would be going into Valhalla 2 majors away from the Harmon Slam. That's awesome.
Phenomenal concept.
I would
That would be
love to
fun.
see a Ham Scott duel.
That would be fun too.
That would
Oh,
be, yeah.
I'm sick of it. I don't want to see that. I don't.
Hmm.
I'd love to see a past generation duel. Like I don't not like super past generation, but even just like Spieth Rory Brooks.
Yeah, that,
Like-
that would be awesome.
Like Rory Brooks would be sick.
Yeah, a throwback
Yeah.
would be kind of cool.
Even
What
if we
about
got like
A Fowler Kisner.
Oh my god.
Well-
not in the field.
I'll
Is
be
there
wagering
even-
Hefty
yeah,
on a
Kisner's
Fowler
not in the
mixed
field, but I was thinking about the players in 15. You get a Fowler Patrick Reed. Oh man,
No,
Well-
thanks.
chilling.
I mean, it would be sick if someone just like
How
stomped
about
on
Akshay
Reed on Sunday.
Bhatia?
Mhm.
How about
But
Batia?
That would be
Bhatia.
sick.
I was thinking about him
Bhatia
being
and
my
Tagala.
sleeper.
No comment there, Elyse. No comment.
I feel like the problem with that is as much as I love the Gala, I'd have to root for Batia just because like Batia winning first time had to win again to the Masters, then winning the Masters would be an unreal narrative. Unreal.
That'd be sick.
Unreal narrative.
What about a reemergence from Mr. Singh?
Ryan, comment on Mr. Singh's chances this week.
He's definitely going to thrust his way from the driving range after a 3-hour session onto the first tee. I will not comment on what happens after the fact of that.
Fair enough. He has to warm up the body.
I'd like to pose a second question, stealing from a no laying up game of who is your pick not to win? And the kind of goal is to go as close to the heaviest favorite possible who will not win.
Oh, that's easy. For me, it's Rom.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going back to back. I'm sorry. And like the liver results have been kind of, I mean, they've been good for him. I mean, they've been fine, but like, yeah, I just don't see him winning.
Gonna have to be Mr. R. McElroy.
Yeah, that's another good one.
Hate to say it, but I don't. He can prove me wrong someday. But looking down the list, there's no one else I'm confident saying that about until Oberg.
It's also like, I mean, Grand Slam winners, like they've done it by now. Like to win a career Grand Slam.
Yeah.
They've done it. Usually.
I'm going to go with somebody that I always say will not win a major and always bites me in the ass, but I will never stop until he stops winning. Brooks will not win, and Brooks will not be a factor.
Respect it. Hasn't been
Mhm.
playing great.
It is the week
Yeah.
for Brooks to not be relevant. I think.
Brian, you have a hate for Brooks. I just don't understand.
I was thinking about this a few days ago. My feelings towards Brooks has always been I don't like him, and then they gradually start to like him again, and then he does something to make me not like him, and it's just always going on that up and down cycle of not liking him, slowly not back to not liking him. It originally started with just him not want to get more majors than Spieth. And then once he passed him, I started to like him again. And then,
I mean, he went to live.
yeah. Well, then he started to act like a douche for no reason, I felt like. And then before he went to live, I started to like him again. And then he went to live and he went full. He went woke. So I don't like him anymore.
It's all fair reason.
Yeah.
Should we get into our pod plays now?
Before we do,
Alrighty.
I have one more name that I think would be cool. This doesn't have to take very long. But he's horrible form here. But I think it'd be sick if Bryson was relevant come Sunday.
The big golfer.
Could you imagine just absolutely standing on 13T? He's down 1, and he's talking about hitting a high draw over the left part of those trees or the right part of the trees on the left. And just the like drama that comes with that. I think, and then hitting a gap wedge that's actually like a 9-iron into number 12. The whole Bryson thing, I think, would be really interesting to see in contention here. But there's a reason that it doesn't happen here, because this place is just not built for Bryson, and Bryson is not built for it. So
the golf community deserves Bryson to have a chance at Augusta once in our lifetimes.
Yeah.
With all that he has said, with all of the drama that Augusta presents.
Yeah.
His questionable mental stability down the stretch of Avon Corner and all of these holes with water would be cinema.
Yeah. It'd be top
good
tier.
content.
It really would be.
Mm-hmm.
What about literally a throwback? I know I don't know what the beef is now, but how about Brooks and Bryson down the stretch at Augusta?
Oh my God.
That'd be fun.
I mean, talk about
Yeah.
a tale of two mental stabilities. Like that would be unreal.
Gotta get the shirts out. I'd wear one of the shirts that they had.
R67
Would be fascinating.
Someone in the chat
Right.
wants me to challenge Rory fans to a match.
Mm.
That would
Good content.
that
Yeah,
would
that'd be
be
great
good
content.
content. I don't know. I feel like I probably win or I just get killed. Like he's either like really good or he's like just as like a 20 handicap and I kill him. Or else he's just like a stick and he's like +4 and I like just get whooped. I feel like it wouldn't be close either way. I feel like the odds of these the
Only
same
one way
like
to find out.
range as me. Well, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
I guess that's true. I already do play in a lot of matches that aren't very competitive, so
Okay.
Wow.
We don't have to talk about that now.
Yes, I think
That's
now's a
going to
good
be
time
talked about
to
at a later date.
transition to the triple double place.
That was a low blow.
had to do it.
Have we broken news of recent development, Mr. Blute, or is that still?
Not yet. We'll save that. We'll
Okay.
save that for a post at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mhm.
Okay.
Let's see. Let me open up triple double. Okay. Yes. Triple double. Sounds good.
Well, I will start with the one play I have at the moment, and that is Mr. Joaquin Neiman. He's playing well. At some point, he's going to play well at a major. We talked about the Riviera course fit. I think he could play pretty well this week. We'll see. And we only get to use the live guys once a year, so might as well use them now while you can. So.
Oh, really? Actually, I'll stick with that then. That's
What do you mean 4 times a year?
Well, yeah, we get to use them
Well, depends
once
how many
in
majors
4
are in, I guess.
opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think my plan is to save Brooks for a different major and Rom for a different major. And then I'll probably roll out Phil at Pinehurst, to be honest.
That's a good idea. I respect it.
That's a very large stack play.
Yeah.
Would agree.
Mm.
So you only have one player now, Dan?
Yes, I will. I should come to my conclusion by the time you guys share the rest of yours.
Yeah. I can go, Jordan. I only have 2 so far.
That's
We
cool.
guys need a deadline on this thing.
I'm trying to
Yeah,
deal
we're
with.
busy people.
Well, 2 weeks ago, I missed the plays completely. I didn't get him in time,
And you're fine without that.
and I still have a multi-million-dollar lead because of Batia last week. So that's ideal. Yeah. So I already said I have a Hideki this week. I'm not really sure many times I'd pick Hideki, even if he's playing well. Besides, like right now, so I feel like it's a good time to use him. Then from a live strategy standpoint, I'm going to Rom. I feel like I can use Brooks in a better spot down the road. And I'm just not willing to use Neiman right now. I haven't decided on my last one. Could go a lot of ways, but I don't know. I do not know yet.
That leaves me
Yes.
in the
Does.
caboose and last. I have all three of my plays. I am joining you, Bob. I'm going Hideki.
Yeah.
I agree with you. My non-Scott pick is Hideki. I just cracked all the numbers. Really like Hideki this week. And then for my other two guys, I'm going to use two guys that I've already used once, so they'll be gone. I am going to go with Mr. Tony Finau,
Ooh.
a very low sack player, as we all
Nope.
know. Very low sack.
I would be lying if I said hide a laugh when I heard that selection. I apologize, but
So Mr.
I can't with me now anymore. I'm sorry.
Mr. Finau will not win, but I do think Mr. Finau will play well, and that's
See?
all I really care about.
fair.
Um,
I don't know.
he-
I
he
feel like
just go ahead.
the thing with Finau is that remember that like spurt where he won like no name events, but he was like
Yeah.
dominant. Like he like won them by a
Right.
lot, and he was
Yep.
just on fire.
Well, he
Like-
won one of them because what's his name?
Oh,
Piercy collapsed.
baseball grip. Yeah.
Yeah. Like he had a 4-shot
True.
lead at the turn and lost by like 6.
Yeah. That's true. Here's my opinion on Finau. I'm pretty sure he's hitting the ball about the same as that time period.
Finau's flushing it these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is.
His
These
putting
striking
is
numbers are nice.
abysmal. And if
They're
you
more
notice his
exciting.
putting grip, it's very strong and it's very on like his putter's on the heel.
I thought Hideki had by far the highest toe raise of a putter I've ever seen. Finau's blows his away. It's
Yeah, I know.
ridiculous seeing him putt.
Yeah. Now, if you guys have ever tried that putting method is not a putting method for fast, slippery greens. You lose a lot of feel. I just don't see any way in which Finau, who's already putting horribly, finds it at Augusta. I think even if he flushes it, he's going to have 4 or 5 3-putts this week purely because it's so hard to gauge speed with that grip. I mean,
Okay,
putting
good.
downhill for him is going to be awful.
It could come back to bite me. I'm well
Yeah.
aware.
I have a big J journalism question for Mr. Karp regarding
Yes.
his Finau selection.
Yes, go ahead.
A recent report came out a few weeks ago that Finau family spends around $25,000 a week on food. Obviously, if you spend $25,000 on food in 1 week, that takes up a ton of time. Are you concerned that that amount of time spent on feeding his very large kids will take away from his master's preparation?
He does have a very large family. I mean, what is it, 7, 8 kids?
His oldest son is offensively fat.
That's a very good
What do you-
question. It's a
Mhm.
very good question. It is a big journalism question.
That is out
you
there.
know, with Masters Week, I hope that Mr. Finau has his entire attention on the golf. He's played some good golf at Augusta National's career. He's got a T5 and a couple T10s. I think Mr. Finau will have his attention where it needs to be this week. I think the family will be nice and they'll be cared for.
Will be nurtured.
They will be nurtured. Very good chance they'll be nurtured with many pimento cheese sandwiches.
The
That seems
$25,000 budget may decrease heavily with the amazing prices at Augusta.
That's
Something to
could
look
be a
out for.
lot of pimento cheese sandwiches for the
Yeah.
Finau clan.
So much
It's a
value
very good
there.
point you make. Yeah,
Mhm.
there's
That
value.
is something
There's
that
value.
I did not see coming from you, Mr. Schauber. So I appreciate you may get canceled, but I appreciate the big J ness.
Ryan will not apologize for
No,
his
he
take.
won't.
If Mr.
Um,
Finau is listening, I will not apologize for scrutinizing the size of your children.
well, I don't think Tony Finau is listening. Um, yeah. Where do we go from there?
I have my last play. I do have my last
Good.
play. I talked to Elyse this morning. I didn't really take any advice. I just shared what I was going with. My last play is another guy I've already used. I'm going Mr. Siwoo Kim.
What?
Siwoo. Yeah.
He's in
I
the
don't
I'll be
field.
know.
honest. I'll be very honest. I did not know he was in the field.
You should take a look at what Mr. Kim has been doing as of
Wow.
late.
What a star-studded lineup we have now.
Yeah, he's been a
He-
popular longer shot pick.
I like
Siwoo.
Siwoo
He
this
has
week.
5 top 25s in his last 7 starts.
Yeah.
He's flushing it too.
He's been super consistent. Yeah, I like how his game fits this golf course, and he's played decently, but he's probably playing the best golf of his life right now.
Yeah.
So, I know a couple of my selections are out, a little outside the box, but
Yeah.
again, they're not guys who I think they're going to win. Besides Hideki, I do think Siwoo and Finau can maybe get me some top 15, top 10 money though,
Yeah.
which I desperately need to catch up.
I mean, that's how I'm feeling. I don't really know.
If
I
you're
have
behind,
my-
I think you have to go kind of outside the box. I would agree.
Okay. I'm between two people here. And one of them would be really unfortunate. Because I feel like if I did go with this person, that would eliminate his chances of winning.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Don't do it.
I don't
Anyway,
I won't be doing it. I care too
That'd be your
much.
second use of him as well.
Well, that's my strategy. I want to get him out of availability to be used. That's
Who are you
the-
alluding to? For those of who us may not know.
Right, use your
Um,
brain.
yes.
Oh, apologies. No apologies.
I'm just gonna go. Well, I don't.
I think it would
Yeah,
be
I'm not.
great.
I don't know.
I have my plays while you think.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So I went with Neiman. I mentioned that. I realized I didn't play Schauffele yet. So I'm just gonna roll out Xander. Because that seems like a good spot for him. And then kind of he's not playing as well as Siwoo is, but Matt Fitzpatrick
Yeah.
has played decently around here before, and guys tend to pick up majors in spurts. And obviously he won the US Open at Brookline.
I like this play.
And he fixed the driver at the Players. He didn't play again until Valero. It could be a sneaky Fitz week, especially if the weather's a little bit tougher in the first few days. He typically plays well at hard courses, and he's done it before. So why not Fitzpatrick? And I haven't used him yet, so that's kind of also part of the. I almost played Spieth J, but I decided that there's better. As I mentioned, he's not winning this week, and I wanted somebody with a chance. So
Ow, that hurts. One of us has played
He has a
Spieth
5%
J,
chance.
sorry.
He's a 5% chance.
according to Ryan Golf. Schauber Golf.
Yeah, Ryan Golf. I don't think Spieth has a 0% chance.
No, he doesn't.
I think come Sunday on the leaderboard, do I trust him or Fitzpatrick more?
Oh, sadly, Fitz.
Sadly, I think the answer is Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
Fitz just did it a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Wow. Bob's rolling with him again.
I have to. And
I like
listen,
it.
he's not gonna win. But honestly, I don't know when I'm gonna use him again. And it was
Fair.
between him, Spieth, who I can't take for the integrity of the podcast, because every time I've taken him on the podcast in any form, it's been mush. So I'm not taking Spieth.
Thank you for
I
your
care
service.
too much about the craft, and the dedication to the fandom. And then it was also between Neiman, who honestly I just don't want to root for this week.
Me neither.
I feel like Neiman. I feel the problem is I feel like Neiman. I don't think Neiman's gonna win, but I feel like there's also a chance he just completely craps himself, misses the cut. Same chance
I
as he like
agree.
T5. So I just don't think it's worth it for me. Um. So this guy I'm picking, he's not gonna win, but I'd be shocked if he doesn't play well. Um. And that is the lefty himself, the man who's fed me before, Mr. Batia. I'm gonna roll right back to him the week after. He
Shoulder
did me
doesn't concern
well.
you.
What?
Shoulder doesn't concern you.
I mean, it was a socket issue. I mean that's sore for a few days, but as long as they popped it back in, he should be fine by Thursday. I'm not worried about that at all. I mean, look at Wyndham Clark. Wyndham says he's 100% ready to go, and that was a back injury, so I'm not too worried. Um, so yeah, I
I think it
think
was taking Clark or Ludwig.
yeah. So yeah, I think Ludwig isn't a horrible pick. He doesn't have the short game to win, but he could play the course really well.
The
Clark's
moment he
interesting.
the moment he inches into contention, we are all going to have dread for cashing out.
Yeah.
I don't think
Oh
it's a
well.
Ludwig week.
Yeah.
Oh, bear.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say that I said that I was between Xander and one other guy for my pick outside of Scott, and that other guy was Wyndham Clark, and I went with Xander for the same reasons that I'm not picking. I don't like Ludwig. It's just if your
Rookies don't
name is
win.
not Jordan Spieth, you don't play. You don't have a chance to win at your first time at the Masters.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yep.
All right. Nick is here. And before we wrap this up, we can get his thoughts.
Another
Mr.
great guest.
Pompey. Known another great guest. Known some would say world famous backup tracker. Um he has a very good PR rating. The public loves him. Nick, hello, welcome to the show. You've been on here before, but how are we doing? How are we feeling? And I posed the same question to you as Ryan. Where do we stand compared to last week? Spieth, of course, talking about where do we stand in terms of percentages from 0.0 to now? And Nick is Nick has been waiting for the moment.
Nick did not deliver.
And Nick did not show up for the moment. Wow. He is dead frozen. Yeah, no, Elyse brings up a good point about the Masters Championship.
Can we point out our favorite aspect of the picture? I would like to point out
Picture
mine.
every year. Like it's my favorite thing about Tuesday. I wait for the champions picture every year.
I would like to point out, and this might offend some people.
Well, let's
Mr. Nicholas looks like Jabba the Hutt.
Nicholas.
He looks in rough shape.
I will say Nicholas does look in rough shape. Oh, there's Nick. There's Nick. We will go back to that, Ryan. But
Thank you.
I apologize for my camera.
What a difference.
can you just go through the like how because you actually had a better thought process compared to us going into the Masters. Like you gave more of a chance last week than we did.
Well, I'm throwing out all the analytic part of it, and I'm throwing in Spieth at Augusta. You can't count out Spieth at Augusta. You look at his resume. I don't care if he was in form going into all those years. He knows the course. Greller's freaking plotting.
We haven't talked about that.
If Spieth plots, like if Spieth just like uses his brain for like just 4 straight days, he actually will win the Masters. Like if he doesn't put a ball in the water and just go shot by shot, don't hit the water. Just literally go shot by shot. It doesn't have to be the whole week. this shot cannot go in the water. This shot cannot go in the water. And if it doesn't go in the water,
That's where the ethics bailouts come in and sloppy bogey.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure he'll find the water. And
Why
I know
can't
you
we
guys are
hit
saying
high
no
stack shots
sixes,
on the
no
green?
sixes on the week. Spieth is one of the few players in the fucking field that can make a 6 and still win. He can
See,
make
I
a 7 and
disagree
still
with
win.
that take. I disagree with that take.
He makes enough birdies to the point where making a 6 will not kill him. If he makes multiple 6 pluses, he will die.
You forget the fact that he also makes a egregious amount of bogeys.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's gonna make bogeys.
I'm pretty sure I heard a
try
stat.
and limit those. I mean,
I don't think
the iron
and
play.
This could be wrong. Oh, hold on.
Sorry, you can go. I was about to yap.
I don't think a Masters champion has ever made a double bogey in the week they won.
That's 100% not true.
Yeah, there's no way.
I heard this talk in 2021. In 2021, it was some stat. It was when he made the 7 on 9, and it may have been a triple or it may have been a 7, but I feel like it could have been a double.
It definitely was not a double.
I'm pretty sure he made.
Oh, hold on. I'm gonna fact check this.
He made a double in 15. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he made a 7 in 15 on 15.
No, he made a 6. It was a 6.
That was a 6.
Didn't he double 17 one day?
So Spieth doubled in 2015 when he won.
No, he did. Okay, I was wrong. I'm gonna find what I was
Ryan went
talking about though.
It's so the stat that usually comes up is the number of 3 putts. You can't have a certain number of 3 putts. Like once you hit a certain number of 3 putts, I forget the number it is, then your chances of winning the Masters goes away. So that's one of the key stats.
One thing about Augusta,
and also the number of doubles too. I think I've seen Ryan there's a stat where if you have more than 3 or 4 doubles, then you don't win either. But yeah.
What's the over under on
definitely
3
have
putts
a double?
Over under on 3 putts for Spieth.
Yeah. Is it 2.5?
It was a triple. It was a triple. The stat was no winner has ever made a triple.
Oh, yeah, that makes
If he
sense.
under hits on 2.5, he's doing pretty good, I think.
Yeah,
3 putts they're actually brain rot. The amount of the past 3-4 tournaments for Spieth, most of his bogeys have been central fairway from less than 140, and it's actually just rotting my brain. And it can't happen.
I actually do feel like Nick has watched more Jordan Spieth than I have in recent weeks, so that's.
I watch the golf. I watch him rot my brain.
He does know ball.
The only event I haven't watched recently was Valspar.
Good choice.
It seemed like
Valspar was also brain.
It seemed like 80% of the bogeys were made from the fairway, 130 away, either 30 feet short in the fairway, putts it to 6 feet, miss. Just so many of those. The lag putting from the off the green too, I would very heavily appreciate if those turned into chips.
The way the chipping's been as of late?
I feel like the lag putting from off the green.
Lag putting's been good. Gross, actually.
Yeah. I mean, but at the end of the day, I think Spieth could. I think Spieth is such an enigma that who knows what's going to happen on Thursday. Well, I mean, we're giving all these facts, and he could make a 6 on 1 and then birdie 5 in a row and be 3 under and leading, and we're going to be like, well, everything we said on the podcast is just irrelevant now.
Part of me tells me he's going to drive it well with his recent performance. He could obviously lose the plot off the tee like he always randomly does, but I just have this feeling that he's just going to hit fairways.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Especially at 2. He's going to have to game shots at 2 with his ability to draw the ball. And
he really didn't hit one singular devastating drive after the tee ball in 14 last week.
And with the short rough at Augusta, I think it helps Spieth because I feel like every time he's in the rough, he gets boned and he just has a shit lie and he never advances. I don't know if that's statistically proven, but I just feel like he sucks out of the rough recently.
Yeah, that's fair. It's firm though. So
yeah.
I mean, there's gonna be a lot of people in the rough this week. And also the rough's just not rough. So
it's fake.
Yeah. I feel like to wrap this up, I'd like a score prediction from everyone because it is projected to be very, very firm. Brooks has been saying that's as firm as he's ever seen it. Unfortunately, it's going to rain, but Augusta has an absurd drainage system, so who knows? Um, I'll start. I'm going with 10 under par.
Oh, the winner.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant first round for Spieth.
Oh no, winning score to wrap it up.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go 14.
It's
I
not.
think this rain is gonna make it play a lot easier than it should, which is disappointing.
Fair.
I'm not
Jordan.
going that low. I'm not going that low. I'm thinking 11-ish. I think
Okay.
we were talking rain a little bit, but if they end up playing a decent amount on Thursday, it's going to be crazy windy Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, Thursday, Friday will be tough. It'll probably be
Yeah.
if you get in at 5
You're
going into
getting
Saturday, you'll feel
feeling
really
really
good.
Yeah.
I
Nick.
agree.
It really could vary. Like, I don't know how much the rain will affect the course. Like
Yeah, it's a fair point.
you don't. It's all just a guessing. Like you have to see what. Like I could tell you on Thursday after like the first after they come out. I'll guess. I'll say minus 12. I don't think it'll be that low.
I was gonna say minus 13 with the caveat of second place being minus 7.
What? Are you just saying Scott's winning by 6 or?
Scott isn't winning.
It's not.
I'm
I'm not even
guaranteeing
joking.
Scott
I'm
lost.
not even. I have
Guaranteeing this.
1000% sincerity, and when I say I think Scott is going to run away with this tournament,
Scott won't run away with.
Well, he
That
might
is
have
a
to become
crazy
a
take.
father mid-weekend.
that could be a developing situation.
I actually hope he
that would
doesn't.
be-
Like that would just be like such a woke way to win. Like if Scott's up by 3 on Sunday and withdraws, like I'm not. That's not a valid win.
Burns has way more of a
Wrong.
chance of withdrawing because his wife is a lot closer.
Scott had the option to not impregnate Meredith on a time
No, I
where
mean, it'd
it
just be
brought
like-
Augusta into play.
Like
That is
obviously
his
the win
fault.
would count, and we would all like troll Scotty, but like deep down,
Give props to
Spieth.
Spieth.
If Spieth won and Scott withdrew with the lead, I would actually just like it would just feel like worse than an actual win, no matter
Give
how
props to
much you want to
Spieth.
put it.
He impregnated Annie where the child was birthed in the winter, out of play of tournament golf. That's a mistake that Scotty made.
Spieth
So
is
it's
so
You're saying so Scotty has a good like on the course brain, but Spieth has a better off the course brain, better like planning brain.
Yeah,
Scott's
Yeah.
just a Meredith's a
It would be if Scotty had to withdraw and Spieth then won. Think of all the like, we talk about how many jackets Spieth already has. Not like after that, it's shoot, he actually has 2, but Scotty had to withdraw with the who knows
Who
or whatever.
cares?
Well,
Has-
I mean, he
Spieth
already
has, like,
has 3, so
three
we're
and a half
fine.
jackets or something.
I mean,
like,
Yeah, you
Spieth
guys
was
have to-
DQ'd from Genesis, and we're not taking away Hideki's victory. I think it's a very similar situation.
I mean, there's also the Gooch isn't in the field thing, and that's kind of
Hideki,
chaotic.
I
so-
saw there was like a stat that proved Hideki like is like could win this week. He's not winning. He's not winning shit.
Yeah.
We must not wrap. We actually have to ask me all the questions you asked Ryan, so I can give my
I don't even know what questions I asked Ryan.
I
But
mean, like-
Our
Ooh.
last question: how does everyone feel about Jordan Spieth's championship dinner fit?
yes, I would like to talk about this as well.
The
I
dinner outfit was
appreciate-
interesting. The purple.
I like
His
purple.
dinner fit.
Can also everybody please point out one of their other than Spieth in my mention of Mr. Nicholas of the Champions Dinner. It's such.
I think Phil looks great.
Mr. Stadler looks great as always. The walrus.
Stadler always looks fantastic.
DJ and Spieth are the only ones not wearing white shirts
Pizza
with
looks
some
Yeah.
colored tie.
I was gonna point out
Nice, the
DJ.
2 people who cost the United States the right.
DJ
Paul
looks
Fable has a very hefty beard going.
Ola Thobel. Oh, man.
Nicholas looks like he's deteriorating. And Phil's on cocaine.
We are off the rails. I think that's all we have tonight.
And bread.
Yes,
That
it
was
is.
we kept up 20 plus viewers for 2 hours. That's pretty impressive.
talk
We
about
had
Rom's
a bit of,
menu?
like we had
I have one more question for our guests. What would be on your Masters Champions dinner?
Ooh.
I
Drop
think
it in the
about
comments
this
too.
so
I
often.
think
The number
Ryan
one
goes
lock
first.
is dessert cheesecake. 1000%.
I think I'd have to put dessert churros for Mr. Perez.
I mean,
Mr.
I
Dom.
think that for me it would have to be tomahawk.
For
That's a
dessert.
good choice.
I think a
For dessert?
ribeye.
No. For appetizer, I'm going with a filet mignon, and then
Yeah.
the entree will be a porterhouse, and for dessert, we're having a New York strip.
All of those
Respect it.
that would sabotage the field.
Only
red wine
domestics
as
at
well,
the
of
table, by
course.
the way.
But
Only Miller Lights and Coors Lights.
yeah.
You probably just
Um,
order some Hooters, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
We
That would,
talk about
yeah, that's
Mr.
what Ryan would
Watson's
do.
chances this week. Mr. B. Ubba Watson.
We're not
Best
going to be
Masters
talking
dinner
about
in
Mr. Bubba
history?
Watson's chances.
Can we talk about
I mean, my dinner would be similar to Hideki's, so it's not going to be that interesting because
that menu looked good.
It
I'm
looked
trying to think of the
woke.
last menu that looked like bad.
Wagyu beef is so good, and sushi, like really good sushi, is
Was it Bubba's?
Speed's menu was really woke.
I think
Speed's
Bubba's
menu
menu was
just
pretty
like
bland.
This was definitely
Bland.
so,
Menu was as
yeah.
bland as it gets. Oh,
Bubba did a
Texas
copy and
barbecue.
paste from 2012 to 2014. It was word for word the exact same.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, we've lost the plot.
Is everyone's official pick Scotty?
Yeah.
Does anyone have an official pick that is not?
My official pick is
Xander.
Spieth.
You're doing actual Xander over
Yeah,
Scotty?
actually Xander.
I've
I don't
got
think Xander has a shot. Realistically, he's a little
I'll be laughing in your face when he wins on
He
Sunday.
will not be winning. I think Spieth has a better chance to win.
I would appreciate a Xander victory.
I'm serious. I genuinely do.
Okay.
All right. That's all we have for you
Why
tonight.
is
Thank you for
Hideki have better
listening.
odds than fucking Spieth, dude? That's so woke.
Nick,
Wait.
That's
it's been a pleasure, everyone.
we appreciate
Thank you
your viewership
all.
as
It's
always.
been awesome. It's been almost 2 hours. Nick likes
It has
to
been 2 hours. No,
Yeah.
Nick's awesome. We love Nick.
We do love Nick. Nick
Love you, Nick.
won't be on the
Wait.
call this week though. I'm on my grind.
One last thing.
No,
Why does Siwoo Kim have better odds than Brian Harmon?
I actually didn't even look.
he
at
was
that.
flushing
That is
it.
an interesting question.
It's a good question, man.
Well,
Food for thought.
yeah, we can late afternoon on Thursday. We'll see you all then. Thank you for listening. Thank you to the guests for coming on. And we
Love you
will
guys. Yes.